Now, Ukrainians could soon be travelling to the EU without a visa. This after Donald Tusk announced Kiev had met conditions perfectly and said EU officials would work out the details in the weeks to come. Well, the summit in Brussels ended with smiles on Thursday, but the bloc remains frustrated and divided by the slow progress being made to tackle corruption within Ukraine. Well, for more, I'm very pleased to be joined this morning by Ukraine's Ambassador to France, Oleg Shamshur. Ambassador, thank you so much for speaking to us here.
Thank you for the invitation.
Can we just start? Can you give me your reaction to that summit yesterday? Are you pleased with the progress?
So I think it was an important step in the development of our relationship. We have discussed, Ukraine and EU, all the most important issues on our agenda. Visa-free regime, you mentioned that. The finalization of the process of ratification of the association agreement, the support of reform in Ukraine, and of course, the implementation of the Minsk agreement and more generally situation caused by the Russian aggression against Ukraine.
Well, Europe is very divided on measures to tackle the Russia problem, inverted commas. There are some who want to renew sanctions against Russia. There are those who don't, and we're hearing that in that presidential debate last night as well.
There are different views, but for the time being, and we hope that will stay forever, the position of the European Union as the Union is very firm. The sanctions will stay, and it would depend on the implementation by Russia of the Minsk agreement. And as soon as Russia is violating the Minsk agreement, the sanctions will stay. And I think that's the only possible and only right approach.
But there's also frustration within Europe about the subject of tackling corruption, not just in Europe, but also within Ukraine itself, that not enough is being done.
So actually, we quite sure that we have to do a lot in order to tackle this issue and to put it under control, to fight corruption. But at the same time, there are many speculations, and I'm quite happy that an important part of the summit was the acknowledgement of the leaders of the European Union of the progress made by Ukraine in the process of reform, including the fight against corruption. We have created the necessary mechanism, we have passed the necessary legislation, and moreover, the bodies created according to this legislation have started already their work. So Ukraine does change, and it changes as far as the fighting corruption is concerned.
But some people argue that it doesn't seem like it's being taken as seriously. The bodies that are fighting corruption, we've heard that a 23-year-old lawyer is now heading up one of them. And there's been criticism. She's very young and not experienced enough to be doing this.
If I'm not mistaken, you're speaking about the deputy of the Minister for Internal Affairs.
It's the Anna Kalinchuk, who is now heading up the anti-corruption
basically,
team.
that's the issue for the minister to choose his...
this is a 24-year-old who's heading up the...
But let's not limit this issue to the nomination of this lady, of this deputy. I'm speaking about creating the mechanism which involves the National Anti-Corruption Bureau, the Agency for the Prevention of Corruption, and I've met those people. They're very motivated. They're very young, by the way, and they're not afraid of anything. And it works very well for dealing with this issue in Ukraine. And maybe for the first time during 25 years, people are really, and the authorities are really serious about fighting corruption.
Okay, well, we can only hope. Thank you so much,
Ambassador
to France, Ambassador Oleg Shamshur, speaking to us here on France 24 this morning. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.